was scrolling through social the other day and I came across a post that an agent did that was really to bring transparency to what the seller thinks she takes home versus what she actually pockets after all of the fees and expenses and any kind of marketing that it takes to market the property and get to the closing table. I thought it was really well done, very spot on. I mean, it was an extreme example for sure. Every transaction is going to be different. All commissions are negotiable. How you market a property, your broker split, all of that is it varies agent to agent and transaction to transaction, but her example was that from a $1.45 million sale, her seller was seeing that she got $29,000, when in reality, after she took out all of the splits to her co-listing agent, to her brokerage, taxes, marketing the property with photography and brochures and different marketing materials, and then overhead costs, she was really pocketing at the end of the day just under $5,000, which was really interesting to see because from an agent's perspective, that's really not surprising. But all of the sentiment, or I should say a lot of the sentiment, was that there's no way that on a $1.45 million home, she was only taking, just under $5,000 home. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it seems like there is a misconception on where that commission goes. One of the most common posts I saw commenting on her thread was the national average is 6%. And first of all, that's not true. It's closer to 5.4 or 5.5, and it really is area specific, kind of demand specific. So if it is a seller's market, sometimes you do have to go a little lower in your commission to get that listing. If it's more of a buyer's market, you can kind of negotiate what you want for commission a little bit easier. So it really depends on the market you're in, as well as the area that you're in. I would say if you're basing it, let's just for devil's advocate purposes, saying we are 6%, which I will say in my experience, that is rare to see 6%. That is split several ways. And most commonly, that is split between the listing side, so the listing agent who's actually listing the property, and the buyer's agent side, so the agent who is bringing the buyer. Meaning that when a listing agent goes in and says, in this example, let's say they're getting 6%, they're most likely taking 3 for themselves and 3 to the other side. So that 3 is already gone. We're offering it to a buyer's agent who brings us a buyer. Now she was negotiating a deal that was actually 4%. So her split was 2 and 2. And so her $29,000 came from the fact that she was getting 2% on her side just to list the property. On top of that, she has to pay, because she was using a co-listing agent, splitting it 50-50. So already you're taking that 29 and you're splitting it in half, and she gets half of that 29 to herself. The other goes to her co-listing agent who helps her list the property. Then on top of that, you have a broker split. So in her case, she said 10%. Again, that is different from agent to agent. Some agents might have a lower split and some may have a higher split. But with lower splits, you're handling more of the overhead costs for yourself. With a higher split, generally, if it's a good brokerage, they're handling a lot of the marketing and transactional overhead costs for you. So that may change, but I would say that 10%, you will see more extreme than that, obviously. And on top of that, she wasn't even mentioning any kind of referral. A lot of times in real estate, we have referral businesses, other agents out of state who refer you a buyer who's looking in your area, or even Zillow.com. We are paying a fee off the top just to get that lead in. I mean, that's not even covering something like a referral. I just thought it was very interesting because even with the baseline costs and fees, she talked about 10% paid to the brokerage, her taxes, staging costs were up to almost $3,000, and that's split with her co-listing, photography, which is $500, and the marketing and overhead materials and things like that. That is pretty common. To see how many people were surprised that that's what she got paid was very interesting. And then another comment that I saw very very frequently, you don't even deserve that because agents don't do anything. So, I mean, obviously that is nonsense. But when we talk about agents who are really doing an excellent job versus, I saw a lot about, paying a flat fee and that being what agents deserve. A flat fee service mostly is going to be putting your listing on MLS and really, really hands off. In my experience, representing a buyer trying to work with a seller who's gone a flat fee route, It's very, very hard to get in to see the property. It's very hard to get any kind of information because the agent is really just not available. If they have a phone number at all, it most likely goes to an office where his team and assistants are helping manage that listing. Just overall, it's harder to show the property, it's harder to get buyers in, and we all know the easier it is to show a property and get buyers in to see it, the easier it is going to be to sell the property. So from a seller's perspective, you get what you pay for. If you are going to pay a flat fee, you're going to get a flat fee type service. If you are going to pay an agent a commission to actually go out and market the property properly and really do the legwork to sell your property and be hands-on the entire time with negotiations, with getting buyers in, getting the most eyeballs on that property, you are going to pay more for that kind of service and that level of service than you would a flat fee. So it was very interesting to see the comments and how many of those comments showed that not a lot of people understand how we get paid and how much we get paid.